number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Southborough Recreation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for the remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and a requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southborough's website. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or participate in the meeting may do so by finding the YouTube link on our town website. No in-person attendance or members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite our best efforts, we will post on Southborough's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. All right, so we can call the meeting to order at 6:03. And then, Kristen, do we actually have you with us? Okay. So do we want to, I do not have the meeting minutes for all of those, the three to do tonight. Two of them are for the planning board, which we didn't actually speak as a commission, but I still need to at least post something, but I'll get them done for next time. So do we want to move just into the director and members reports? So you can take it away, Tim. Okay.
Yeah. Just in case anyone's watching at home, there were multiple meetings being done on the Zoom account for the town. So we are using the recreation department's specific account. So that's why we don't have the functionality of public comment in case anybody's tuning in or trying to tune in. A bunch of stuff. So I'll just go down the list. So selectmen are meeting tonight in executive session to discuss the assessment on the Arts Center that I know Jason was here a while ago talking about. So they have the assessment. They couldn't share it with me because it was under executive session, which is fine. But they are talking tonight with the board of selectmen to see if they want to rid of the property or how they want to proceed. So hopefully in the next couple of days we'll get an update on that and a better insight of what they're thinking. Speaking of selectmen, Jen, as you know, they asked for an update next week from our department. So just more of an FYI, I'll be attending their selectmen meeting next week to kind of give an overview of what's going on, what we've been up to. Mainly, I think notably will be about the lighting projects, and that's selectmen meetings Tuesday. Our final planning board meeting is Monday, and hopefully we'll have good news by the end of Monday so that we can share with them Tuesday. But we will be in front of the board of selectmen next Tuesday if you guys are bored and you want to come tune in. Okay, so
sorry, your guts is that it's mostly about the lights, nothing else.
Well, I think it's about the lights. We did lose a commission member. I'm sure we'll talk about that tonight with our newbie, so I'm sure they may bring that up. I think there's some curiosity just because over the summer we pretty much canceled everything, but now we're kind of somewhat up back and running. So that's kind of how I'm taking it, as an opportunity to show that
I think there was also a comment a while back by BOS that they just wanted to hear about our goals as well and discuss that. So I thought that was something that we could just bring since we worked on it last time as well.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, they're calling pretty much every department in, so it sounds like that. I think everyone's going to kind of have the same take, like you said, Jen, just kind of updates of where we are, where we're going. Programming wise, we actually had a really busy day. So this session of RAP is finishing up. It'll because of the snow and rain we had, we'll be doing some longer days, but it'll be ending the week of Thanksgiving. So the week of Thanksgiving we'll be done with this session. It's been going really well, again, minus that rain and little snow hiccup we had for the weekend programs. But all in all, we've done pretty good. We don't have anything planned after school program wise between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's just timing. We just literally don't have enough time to fit in a session. But we were thankful we were able to get cram 2 in with the time that we had. And we've had really positive feedback as well. So all in all, it was a success. We didn't have any incidents. any concerns, anything like that. School is very helpful. They're very receptive and supportive of what we were doing. So it really worked out really, really well for us. Yoga ended, or outside the wrap programs, we were doing that yoga at home session. That ended, everybody wanted another session. So we're gonna start session 2 this week. We already have 5 signed up. We had 9 last session. So, it's really good. Kind of our usuals that we had when we did it in person. So I'm glad we're able to kind of continue that for them to take advantage of. Big thing today, I don't know if you saw it, ski lessons were announced today with Ski Ward and Wachusett. This morning, Alex, Denise, and I put it all together and got it out. It's going to look obviously a lot different on our end this year. We're not going to do any transportation. That mainly came down to cost for us. It was going to cost about, on the low end, about $1,500 a night just for the buses, just for Wachusett. So when we did the math, best case scenario, getting 50 kids as we did, because we would need 2 buses, 50 kids like we had last year, we'd have to upcharge on top of the lessons about $300 before we put anything else on top. So the program was getting to that $500-$600 range for 5 weeks. So it was just getting kind of unreachable. So what's happening with Wachusett? So we have our special code still with our department. So someone can go on, put in our code, get the discount still as if they were going as a recreation group to Wachusett Wednesday nights starting the first week of January for 6 weeks, $161, really good deal. Wachusett is being really flexible, which I appreciated. They lowered the age, so now it's grade 3 and up so that families can go. And families are allowed to utilize the discount as well. So if you had parents who wanted to bring your kid, a family of 4 and everybody qualified, they could all sign up under our passes. So that's really good. So they made some tweaks we appreciated. Wachusett is already sold out with a wait list on their season passes because they're limiting how many people can purchase them this year to help limit the size of people at the mountain at any given time. So we know that we don't know the number, but we were informed that we have a limited amount of passes that are connected to our code. So we stressed in our emails and our posts today to register as soon as possible to guarantee the spot. So we were able to keep an eye on we can see on our end through the Wachusett website who's using our code, so we can kind of get an idea of how many people is actually taking advantage. Ski Ward is similar. It's kind of a free for all when it comes to their lessons. Instead of locking us in for one day, parents can go on and choose any day between Tuesday and Friday for ski lessons, and they can choose their time as well, starting at 4 o'clock. I think they run every 15 minutes. They're limited sizes, but it's up to the parents again to transport, and they have more freedom to choose what time and what day they want to go. So again, hopefully people take advantage of that, especially being so close. And we're thinking maybe if it's on a non-cohort day or something, we may get more. So, but we're happy to see those are going. So, hats off to Denise and Alex getting all that out tonight. And we're hopeful. So I know a lot of people were starting to call, so hopefully I made some people happy. But so for instance, Neshoba canceled all their recreation groups, so we were anticipating that was going to be for us too. So we were thrilled that wasn't the case. And we do get a small kickback from both mountains, about 5%. So we'll see a little revenue come from that. Not much, but again, just happy that we're able to do it. Any questions on ski?
No, that's awesome.
Program-wise with Alex, we're actually starting to plan summer camp, believe it or not. With Alex going out in March, we're kind of taking it upon ourselves to start a little earlier and really plan the bones of it, not the details, because we obviously don't know what that's going to look like come next summer. So Alex reached out to all the counselors that were signed on for last year, kind of gave them the heads up that we're going forward in some form of summer camp to try to get some feedback on how many we can expect back. I think we've talked about this. We're kind of lucky that we didn't spoil anything we had planned last year. So we're kind of able to take out and place back in to an extent. A lot of our themes, a lot of our ideas and activities that we had. So she's working on that schedule. But again, it's all going to, we'll I think have a better, we don't even know if we'll be able to go into schools. We're obviously not going to ask that question right now. It's way too early. But again, we're just trying to get the bare bones of dates and times, potential times, different models we can look at, things like that. So we are starting camp program planning. A couple random things that we're tossing. Oh, first off, the Gobble Wobble. Registration's open for that. The friends of are running that, obviously. Didn't know how we were going to do, but we actually already have over 150 people registered for the virtual one. So, you know, happy for that. They're utilizing our software. So, you know, we're saving a lot of money on their end, or they're saving a lot of money by utilizing ours. It's been really easy. But right now, you know, it's over 3,000 that'll be able to be used for our department with scholarships and things of that nature. So far so good. They seem to be coming in pretty regularly every single day. So that's you know, that's exciting. A couple things we're looking into. We had a meeting with the central region of Massachusetts Rec and Park, and we are all going to kind of go in and research doing an esports league, because that's kind of the big trend right now. So Minecraft, Fortnite, all that stuff. So we're going to start researching that. And like right now it's us, Grafton, Northborough, maybe Hudson, kind of along our belt, are thinking about kind of forming a kind of a regional league with the company, one of the companies that is in Massachusetts out there. So kind of something different for the winter months. Take into account we might be on lockdown, and winter is going to look much different for us. But something we're tossing around with that, and you know, a couple other trying to stay on our toes. We're just kind of tossing around some other ideas. So we'll be announcing some stuff soon, hopefully, if it all works out. That's all I have for programming. Any questions program related? No?
I don't.
All right.
Sounds good though.
Okay. So projects. So our third hearing for planning board is Monday. I sent them all to you guys this morning. All the documents are in physicals and PDFs to the planning department. They were distributed last night to the planning board, so they all have them in their possession. And Fuss and O'Neill was given the follow-up as well with the PDFs, which included a comment by comment response of the report that we got for each program. So Art and his team addressed everything like we said, and got everything in. Got a couple points back from Karina, nothing that I think is earth shattering that should hold anything up. But it is our intention on Monday to get an approval with conditions, as would be perfect, because that would give us the green light to go ahead. So fingers crossed on that. But Monday night we'll have our third. I think it's just going to be Art. He can pretty much speak to everything at this point. It's costing him money as well having the other two there, and you know, with it being a kind of just an overview of, you know, we took everything you said, we put it all in. It's our hope that it's going to go smoothly. So we shall see. And then Fayetteville is on the list. Paving was supposed to take place either tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. So by the end of the week, paving was supposed to be done at the basketball court at Fayetteville. Looks like it's going to rain, so we don't know how that's going to affect. So we shall see, but paving hopefully will be done by the end of this week. And then we have striping scheduled for the 17th. So we get the lines down if temperature allows us to paint it. So hopefully before it turns for the worse, that court will be done. DPW has been hauling down there to get the base down.
I can confirm I saw the basketball posts were in there today as I waited for it to go by. So progress.
Exactly. Good.
People seem really excited just based on when you posted in that info.
Long time coming, I assume, on that one. So facility wise, that's really all I have. So, you know, all the other stuff I'll wait till other business, but any questions, I guess, on any of that? Easy.
No.
All
Yeah.
right. So Kristen, you're next with master plan committee update.
For me. Yeah, so unfortunately my goal was to have the document ready for tonight, but work and sixth grade math has proven otherwise. The holdup is I just need to go back and watch a few points on the video. that I wasn't, I just needed to go back and recall specifically what we said. But knowing that you have the selectmen next Tuesday and I have on the 17th, whatever day of the week that is, I'll actually be leading the discussion for the master plan committee specific to recreation. Obviously, I'm motivated to get that complete. Jen detailed a lot of your goals within the meeting minutes. And Jen, I don't know how you do that during the meeting. They're so detailed. That you're really like, I need to like get you on the side and see how you have that skill. But they were really detailed. So there was just a few areas when we were looking at that chart that I want to go back and revisit. So I have more than enough motivation between the selectmen meeting and the master plan meeting next week. So I did carve out, I told Jen I tried to carve out time today. That didn't work. We'll just scheduled over it. I've done that tomorrow. So I don't think we really, the more I thought about it, because the one thing I was kind of kicking myself was voting, but now I think about it, I don't think we would take any vote. I think I would distribute to you, get feedback, and then they're going to have feedback, obviously, because we're going to be discussing it in that meeting. So I was really quite stressed out, but then I realized maybe we really don't need a vote. We wouldn't vote on a draft. So instead, when I have it ready in the next day or two, I will send it out to the commission and then just remind you to send feedback just to myself, and you can copy Tim, but not the others due to open meeting law. I'll consolidate that feedback and send it out once more ahead of both meetings. But Mimi did reach out and was, happy to hear that we had met and would be in a position to lead that discussion next week. And that's it, unless there's questions.
Nope. So next on the list, we had an update on CPC. So was finally officially appointed to CPC. So we have a rec chair back on CPC, and CPC finally had enough people to actually have a meeting and get quorum. So we met last night, but really briefly. It looks like there's only 3 applicants for funds this year, one of them being the Trails Committee that we already spoke to. So I don't there's not a lot there. And I'm assuming that all of the CPC applications from last year that got deferred are automatically already on the warrant. So I know that means our field.
Yeah,
and
we
then-
had that with Capital, and they confirmed, and they had the selectmen meeting and voted on it as well. So
Okay.
we'll be in the spring with CPC funds. Yep.
Perfect. So, yep. So no other updates there.
So I talked to Andrew, and we have pretty substantial outstanding bills that need to be paid against these lighting projects.
Yeah.
But CPC pays them. So I don't know if you can
Oh,
that coin.
yeah. We need it on the agenda for next time, huh?
Yeah.
All right. I'll get it on the agenda.
Okay. And I'll send you, just so you have them as well. I'll send you the actual bills.
Yeah, we met last night and we only had 25 minutes to use the Zoom line before we got kicked off. So basically all we did was schedule the next 6 months of meetings. So
There you go.
Yep.
I've got one quick question, and appreciating we have the field already on the warrant. But last time we met, we talked about the Finn tennis courts, and if we wanted to just fix it up, would that be something we'd go to CPC for? So I just want to throw that out there. Is there anything in regards to the Finn courts that we would be potentially needing CPC funds for?
Well, yeah, I mean, if we want to go all out, I would say resealing those courts and painting it and, bringing it back up to standard could be something. If we want to, I think there's options. We could explore making it pickleball, like we talked about, making it basketball, like we talked about, keeping it just tennis, which that's one of the things, I got the price for just throwing up a net in there, temporary, things of that. So it's a conversation. Admittedly, I think there's other things too. Like I know the monument at 9/11 needs repointing and things like that. But I think it's just, maybe it's my personality. I think we have a big ticket on CPC now.
Completely. Yeah.
Yeah, that I want to get that through, and then so what, fall 21 or FY 22, we can put in for one or even two of those projects because they're relatively small. So
Okay.
that's my thought. That's my take on it.
No, I agree. We don't need any more noise around that particular project than
That's true.
we already have.
You want to put lights on it? We can put lights on it.
Candles.
It was a joke, if anyone's watching.
All right. So then, all right. So then I think the next one is we just have the other business section. So Tim, you mentioned you might have some stuff for that.
Yes. So been working on the field permits. I know I emailed you all about the lighting fee. So that's the only, I guess, outstanding issue from what I gathered from Don was that what was agreed upon, I guess, but never voted on, it seemed, in 2019 was that the bill for the lights would just be distributed equally through the user groups. Is that still the case?
So yeah, so what
Or
I
can you
what I
explain
yeah,
more?
so yeah, so what I dug up in my files here was a copy of the 2017 policy, which has a line item that says lights will be charged, I think, to the user group. And then I found, let me just double check the wording here. Actual usage will be paid by the user. So that's the language we have for lights under the 17 policy. And then the 19 draft, which we all participated on, but I don't know that ever went through, had it actually added into the grid, because we built the grid and then a column was created that dropped it into that. So basically, if you use the field, you pay for the consumption of it. Now, I don't remember the language on the. Let me double check the. Let's see. Other. I don't recall, Tim, if it was to be spread equally or if that was the proposal in the new version or if it was. Sorry, it was on my printer still. Users pay for blah, 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 direct cost. So basically, you use it, you pay for it. Was I think what it had been and what the proposal was.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm just trying to think of how we would actually do that because we'd have to find out time.
I almost think that it would be easier to figure out like what do these bills even look like. I know at one point we were trying to get our hands on a bill to see what we're even being charged. And do we just
I got
lighted
the last
hour
2
fee is a little bit
years.
higher? Yeah.
Yeah, I got the last 2 years, which is since I think pretty much since they were rebuilt. So they are admittedly, I think, skewed. But they're not they're no. I wish maybe I can bring them up quick. Sue sent them to me, but they were only like 1,500 or something like that for the entire year. One, they weren't operational because they were being built for half the year. The other, they were shut off because of Triple E. So it's kind of like I said, a skewed view on what the actual use was. But I do kind of agree, Jen. If we came up, I don't know if there's like an additional hourly rate. It could just be easiest on that we could tack on like a $10 an hour or something.
Yeah, it's going to be skewed as well because we were down. The lights were down because of a issue with the line as well. I think underground or something like that. That there was sort of a cascade of issues with the lights.
It wasn't like the correct voltage, right?
No.
In the
there
beginning,
there was something under.
There was that at the beginning, but then later when they were doing construction for public safety, I think they hit the line or something like that, and we took down the lights because of that. So, yep.
All right. So for FY19, it was $1,401, and they were offline July, August, and September 2018, and they kicked back on saying December, and then it looks like they went down in January, and then they were back up in March. I can email this to you guys. So that was that. So FY19 was $1,400.
I mean, I think we just throw that out because you miss men's softball completely.
Yep. And then FY20 was $1,088, and we were down the entire fall. We were just paying service fees at that point. Yeah. So again, and that was all Triple E. We had to cancel everything, and then had a fuse issue on top of it.
Mhm.
But they worked great this season.
Yep.
Kids look happy out there every time I drove by.
Is there a way we can get to the point that we have an estimate of the hourly cost between the, administrative fees and other to help guide whatever hourly cost that we put up there?
Yeah, I can throw some. I can put a proposal together, kind of with that piece of it. I mean, granted, there's not much of an admin fee based outside of an initial setup, just because Musco's everything's automated. Like soccer right now, it took me 20 minutes to put out 2 entire months. So it's not huge there. I think it's more usage.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I'll have to look at Musco too. I can play around with their reports. I don't know if I can get a by day, how much wattage was put out, and then do the math. Or again, if we just want to come up with a standard hourly, justified though, obviously.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Just like what, making sure we're not over or undercharging, just passing on the cost and as fairly as possible.
Yep, that sounds good. So then we could get that into the forums for the next lighted season. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I just want to get these done for the spring.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
I'm just emailing you guys, both of them. They're
Just how does the mechanism work, Tim? So would you have to collect those lighted fees separately, or did the lighted fees go into the general with the rest of the field fees, and then they'll just put the light bills against those? Is that how it'll work?
Yeah, so I know it's transferred out of that field account when the end of the year transfer goes. So my guess is, my assumption, which I think is right, is it would be put into that as well, because that would directly offset it.
Yep.
So, all right, so I'll work on pulling some numbers and we'll see what we can get. All right.
Do you have other topics, or anyone have other topics?
Yeah.
For other business? Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Just writing this down. I have a budget meeting on Thursday, just so you guys know. Obviously, there's not much to our budget. It's just salary. We were instructed to put a 2.5% on as an assumption on our salaries. So that has been the only change. So I'm meeting with Brian and Carla to go over that. 9/11 did not change that line item. So that's just more point of information for you all. We don't have any guidance yet from the selectmen on if we got to cut as a town or what we're expecting. So we're all putting the first wave in, and then we will see. But Thursday is our budget meeting, and I don't expect anything crazy with that, just because we have nothing in our budget. Tennis nets, like I said, so post net and then post sleeve, which we would need to actually install into the ground. It's only about $1,000.
Oh, great.
So it's really not that much. I just need to look more into the actual installation of the posts into the court, actually into the ground, to secure them, see if it's something DPW can do. But the cost is low, and it's, everything is contract pricing when it comes to the net, the high quality net. It's not, I kind of went to top quality just because it needs to survive the weather, but it was a little less than $1,000. So it's not bad if that's the route we want to go. If we want to hold off because it's getting cold and tackle it in the spring, that's fine too. But I told you I'd look into it, so I did.
I mean,
So,
go ahead, Jen.
I would say I'd be inclined to drop in the net right now. I mean, if it's anything like the last winter, like we had a really mild December, so why not get them out there?
100%. And before the ground, I don't know what's involved in putting them, but before the ground gets too hard.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that makes any difference with the DPW, but I would imagine that we have a window of opportunity if the ground does freeze. I'm
Yep.
guessing.
Okay.
Do we need to vote on that?
If you don't mind,
Yep.
just so I have it in my back pocket. So,
I make a motion for the rec department to proceed forward in purchasing the tennis net and related equipment as described by Tim, and then working with the DPW to hopefully install as soon as possible, in the hopes that it can be installed prior to the ground hardening, which may prohibit us putting it in this fall, which would be our goal.
Second.
All right, so then we need a roll call vote.
Laval, yes.
Dumont, yes.
Dave, you're on mute.
Just wave.
All right, give me a thumbs up.
thumbs up.
Vote yes. All right. And Hanson, yes. Cool.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can hear you
there
now.
I was wondering why nobody was paying attention to me.
We were wondering why you've been so quiet, Dave. Cool. All right.
Next, so Dave, you'll remember this. Last year, we went in front of the personnel board to try to clean up our part-time job descriptions, our part-time
Yes.
salary grid, everything of that nature. I've put in a request to Betsy to restart those talks over the next couple months, just because we, it's before summer, and it's a good time to kind of take that on again. She wanted a vote in support of all the documents going forward. I personally, there wasn't enough time to send you every single description for you guys to go through and whatnot. So I don't have anything physical for you guys to vote on tonight, but they are looking for a vote of support from the board to pursue this. So I don't know if we want to take that vote without you guys looking at everything. It hasn't
I would-
changed.
I would say, have they changed since last spring? Because I thought we gave you a vote last spring and then personnel wouldn't take it up. But
The
Right.
personnel postponed it.
yeah,
So they have not changed. I haven't touched anything. I did a little extra legwork as requested back when they pushed it off. Some salary surveys, things of that nature. So we have a little extra ground to stand on, but
Well, if you've made some changes, why don't we just make a motion to resubmit as amended?
well, to be clear, I
Yeah.
haven't changed any pricing, any descriptions, any titles, nothing. I just added supplemental materials to reinforce the reasoning. So just clarification.
Well, I think that all you have to do is have a motion then to resubmit.
so you want to make that motion, Dave?
Yes, I will make that motion, although I can't vote on it once it gets submitted. But
Right.
yeah, I'll make a motion to resubmit the figures and details as previously submitted last year.
I second.
Dumont, yes.
Laval, yes.
Nixon, yes.
Hanson, yes. Okay.
Great. So whenever you have the minutes, Jen, can you send those to me then? Because that'll be the proof.
Yep. And just for the minutes, so this is the salary and figures and details for all.
So for Schedule
Full-time
F, Schedule F of the salary administration plan, which is the recreation part-time salary grid.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Yep, I'll send those to you.
Okay.
All right.
And then just the last thing, I know we talked about reaching out to Art and potentially Joe Kasevich as well for that general idea study with turf down at Woodward, to see how much it would cost to get someone to kind of survey it, see what we can fit, and everything like that from our last conversation. I have not pursued that. I'm kind of waiting for lighting to get done first before I ask Art of anything else. But I just want to make that point. I didn't forget about it. I'm just I want to finish up Neary and Mooney, and then I can see if he would be willing to do the extra survey. So and that's all I got. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry, one more thing. Patriots were last night, don't worry. Recreation Commission member. So we're all aware that Seath resigned. So that kind of leaves a vacancy again. Vanessa asked us if we wanted the post. I actually told her to hold off. I didn't know if that was something that we actually wanted to put together, somewhat of a charge or a kind of description of where we're at, what we're looking to do, in hopes that we, can attract someone, or not even attract someone, but give someone the heads up of what they're, getting themselves into with us. So I didn't know if that was something we wanted to put together, so we can pass off to Vanessa, and we can get up and out to see if we can attract anybody.
So
If that's the route we potentially want to go.
I'm behind a little bit, so I never met the guy.
You got
he didn't-
fired,
Yeah.
Don. You got fired.
All right.
No, so Seath, so obviously he didn't show up for first four. And I know Jen and I were trying to reach out to him, see what was going on. And then we got a resignation letter last week, kind of out of the blue. It turns out, which was good, nothing was wrong. He had some increased hours at his job in Wayland, and he does a lot of night meetings for the selectmen. So, and then he just had a kid, 3 weeks ago? So I'm sure. And he kind of was thinking about it. He came in 2 planning board meetings, a goals meeting, 2 regular meetings. We kind of came in at the worst possible time.
Yes.
Yeah. But so nothing
I was
nothing
going to say,
crazy.
honestly, after I think we're pretty buttoned up relative to where we were 2 years ago. So I think this is great.
Yeah.
So
I like the idea a lot versus it just being blindly open. We got a position. I think that's a fantastic idea. Because people really don't know what they're getting into. I know I didn't necessarily. I did have the opportunity to meet with the rec commission before being appointed, and I think that's actually important too. Let them come to a meeting, because that's not how the last couple have gone. And I do think we should return to that. I know ultimately it's up to the selectmen to appoint. I get that. But I also think, especially if there's multiple candidates, that it's fair for them to understand what they're getting into. To your point, it's fair for them to maybe come and attend a meeting to get the feel for it, to make sure it's something they, some of our meetings can go long. This one's probably going to go shorter. But I think we should also have the opportunity to weigh in if there's multiple candidates. It hasn't been the case, I don't think, the last couple of times, so no big deal. So in addition to putting together the description, I think we should suggest that candidates attend also a meeting so we can meet each other prior.
Yeah, and I think this write-up could also have some of the goals that we talked about. So some of the projects that we will be working on, and see what we can solicit for a volunteer. Oh. Anyone interested in helping write this up?
I mean, I'm doing the goals, so I don't mind. That's easy enough, right? We have, because we don't want to book, right? That'll steer them away. So
Yeah.
I mean, Tim, I'm happy to start with something, and then if you want to
I was
kind of
gonna
wait.
say, am I allowed to? I know I'm not on the commission, so
Yeah,
I
no,
can-
I think you're going to be working closely with. I think it's really important for you to weigh in on it.
I was thinking more just to help you out, Tim.
yeah, that's fine.
We can take a stab at a draft or something.
Okay.
I'll send it
Okay.
alongside the goals and incorporate some of the goals into it. So we have that, and actually it'll be good to have that, right, going into the selectmen meeting as well. But again, and I'm happy to speak to it in the selectmen meeting because, well, I don't have my calendar in front of me. I'm pretty sure I have no plans. Because I do think that we were a little bit like the process changed somewhat from what it was. And I thought the process prior to that was pretty good. So,
Yeah, and if you saw the last one, I tactfully tried to share that viewpoint that
Yeah.
you know we're just seemingly randomly putting people on commissions versus seeking like input or seeking people that are interested in what's actually going on. But
yeah.
I don't know, it wasn't received the way I expected. So, but I think we should go back. So I'm glad that like Vanessa's reaching out and offering to help post something because that would be good. So
And she was fully on board with us taking our time and putting
Awesome.
something together. So
As a side note, though, I did mention to Jen, and I'm glad I held off because I'm like, oh, I think we should hold off until we talk. But I do think this group of parents, which by the way, Tim, I'm now able to fulfill my to close off the soccer season, I'll say.
okay.
But there is a lot of parents I could see that were, they actively were seeking something for their kids to do in an environment where they didn't necessarily feel like they could go with the alternative. And so I think right there was, and I mean, they were a great group. Like there was 4 of them that stayed every time and participated. And so I'm like, I bet that's a great group to tap into for potential interest because clearly they're vested in their kids' recreation. And just in speaking with them. So we might have a source to tap into in that group where there's multiple people that I'm like, oh, they might be great candidates having gotten to know them.
I was also wondering if, since turf is a consideration for the future, if we potentially could find someone who's really great at fundraising, who has experience there to bring in and supplement. Like it's going to be a big conversation over the next couple of years. So
that's a great point.
we could
Mhm.
even add that in there. Like that is a skill set we'd love to round out the commission with. So
Yeah, that's a very good point. Well, let's talk about that for a second. But I think that one you just hit the nail on the head in terms of
Yeah, the only issue there is that technically none of us can fundraise.
so we might want them for a future committee.
Yeah, we want them for the breakaway, committee
Subcommittee.
when, yeah.
true,
What-
but if we had them on the commission, they could if that became it, they could always resign to go to lead an
True.
actual fundraising effort. Versus
So that's
we're
true.
kind of going into this dark right now.
Yeah. Yeah, if you think of the one time we did have that expertise at the meeting, it was
I know
definitely
it's critical. My wife is she was on the SEF, which is now the
Yeah, they
Southborough
combined.
Community Fund. They merged and they got their everyone got a list of people to go fundraise from, right? So who do you all know and how do you go all do that stuff? But they can do that because they're not a town
Mhm.
board, right? So they're able to go off and sort of make that happen, and they rely on the people on their board to help with the fundraising. So the idea is perfect. It's just a matter of does it match up to the commission structure.
Are there any other skill sets that we think would be helpful? It's funny because, just Tim, you and Alex, and I mean, Denise, everybody brings a lot to the table currently. So, done with the finance. I mean, is there anything else that jumps out in terms of a need we may have?
It'd be great if we had somebody who, Dave, you've got some experience with sort of just outdoor work and sort of fields and stuff. That's the kind of like construction, with our success recently on being able to do projects like that, having somebody who even has a little bit more of that knowledge would be another resource for like a Tim to go to on a bid question or that type like that. I don't have any of that.
I mean, it's like with CPC, how they have engineers. So when they get plans, everyone at the table, it's like they turn it on and then it's like, oh, well, this, and this. Like
Yeah.
that could always be helpful as we're vetting, projects down the line.
especially the turf one.
Yep.
I think anybody that would have some kind of a agronomy background would be helpful.
Hmm.
The other,
The
element, if
cons-
you go the other direction too, the other element would be somebody who has program
Yeah.
experience, right? That'd be the other, in the interest of fully considering everything we do, that would be the other direction,
Mhm.
potentially.
Those are kind of both ends of the spectrum there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I guess I'd say, which is not so much skill based, but where they sit in the community, is that all of us, either have grown children or our children are growing quickly, with the exception, Tim, obviously, of you and Alex, but those of us on the commission doing, alternative. And I don't think this would go into the description, but just something to consider is that it may not be bad to have somebody with a kid kind of just starting on that journey in recreation, because interests and needs and all of that's going to evolve with them. Like for our our kids, I feel like club really became this much more prominent thing as they've grown older, and we've had to deal with that in some ways. Like, for younger kids, again, that environment's going to change. It's going to be different than it was for our kids. So that's just another consideration. I don't think I would ever put that into a description, but as we're considering, I feel like I'm making myself feel really old right now, but
Yeah. Well,
You don't wanna
own
go
a-
there. Don't
You
go
do own
there.
a pontoon boat, so those of us with a pontoon boat, by definition, have crossed the line, I think.
yeah, that's a good point.
Or like I would even say even like the opposite, Kristen, like someone without kids, like recreation for folks that isn't centered around kids and stuff like that too. So bringing that different perspective as well. But yeah. So probably half of Southborough qualifies.
Just
for
about anybody.
Just grab someone.
Exactly. Someone, right? Yep. Cool.
All right, I got that.
Okay. Anything else anyone has?
Jen, on here, it said a potential vote to be taken on support of the summarized department goal document. Is that something
Yeah,
you have, or?
That's my
the one Kristen.
Oh, that's you?
worked on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
just rub it in.
Yeah.
Tim, just one question for you. Is your meeting next week with personnel?
Yeah, but that's just from talking to Vanessa, it's going to be just a very preliminary saying we're looking to restart these talks again. This is what we have. What else would you like prior to me coming? Right. It's going to be the December meeting that we really dive in again.
Okay.
So.
All right. I can't vote, but I can lobby.
You can thumbs up.
Yeah. Our little kick under the table too.
Yeah.
All right. So then do we want to, so next Monday we have planning, right?
Yep.
At 7:00. Okay.
Yep.
And then hopefully that is the end of it. But then do we want to put let's see. Tim, do you see any reason why we would need to meet again before December?
Potentially after, if I get any guidance from personnel, I would say yes. If they want to vote on anything specific to the documents that we have, but that is TBD. I guess that will depend on our initial. Outside of that, off the top of my head, no.
Okay, so in personnel's next week.
Yes.
Do you know what day? Is it Wednesday morning? Or?
Wednesday at noon.
Okay.
I believe it's next week.
Okay. Do we want to just, because then the following week is Thanksgiving? Are folks around that week or not? Or because I was just wondering if we were to hold like the 23rd at 7:00 just in case we need to take a vote, but otherwise we can cancel.
Well, when would I think, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the next personnel board meeting isn't until like middle of December, right? Usually? Second or third Wednesday?
The subsequent meeting after this next one.
Yeah,
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
so we have time. I don't think we need to
gotcha.
force one in, especially around the holiday.
Then do we want to pick a date the week of December 7th to sneak in between personnel board meetings?
Sure.
That's
fine.
If we could not do the 7th, that's my wife's birthday. So if we could
Okay,
do
good
the
idea
8th,
not to do it.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm learning.
Get a gift.
Yes.
Uh,
All right, so then do you guys have a preference that week?
Is the 8th a Tuesday? I don't have a calendar up.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday.
I mean, this has worked out well.
I'm okay on the 8th.
Okay,
Yep, that's fine.
okay, we'll book that one then.
And keep in mind, now that we have the ability to use this, our account, if there's no rush, I wouldn't want to rush to just take up, just to take up time. So
This is a new account, or did the rules change or something?
no, I requested our own just because of programming wise, of doing that. And I was paying, admittedly, I was paying for one out of pocket since we shut down. But also because Alex is remote, they said, yeah, no problem. Just so, because
Cool.
we meet multiple times a week.
Okay.
Tom LaFlamme is leaving town. Did you guys know that?
Yes,
I
Yeah.
did.
You get that? Bummer.
Wow.
So
yeah, they've actually actively started a search, but he's going to be available and has indicated his willingness to help the town out in any way possible.
yeah, no, that's great. It's gonna be a big loss.
Yeah.
Huge.
So,
Huge. And also dicey time if we don't find a replacement.
yeah.
All right then, so anything else?
right.
I don't have
That's all I
anything.
got.
Okay, so
So
I'll
you'll
make
be
a-
hearing from me next.
what?
You'll all be hearing from me next. Just via email.
All right, so I'll make a motion to adjourn at 6:54 PM.
A second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye,
Yes. Yep.
Well, yes.
yes. Nixon, yes.
Awesome.
So
Hanson,
we'll
yes.
see you Monday, right? Planning?
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
So Jen, it goes without saying, there's 2 agendas posted for then.
Yeah,
Monday.
yeah, it's already posted for Monday. Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Stay,
All right, guys.
stay well, everybody.
Bye.
You too. Thank you.